Perfect. So visualization, yay. So first of all, I wanted to say thank you if you're tuning in. Thank you so much for being a part of this discussion. And also, I hope that you get some value out of it. I was inspired to do this because I wanted to create an opportunity for you guys to just really get an understanding of why I'm so passionate about these tools that are outlined in the Miracle Morning group or the Miracle Morning book by Hal Elrod. So today's topic is visualization. As we can see here, I see I've got some people on the line with me, so I'm just going to see who's here with me. Oh, I've got Kashmira's here, Sharon's here. Hi, guys. Krista Lamb is watching. Perfect. So let's get down into it. So visualization. Visualization. So first and foremost, it is super important here, guys, that when we're talking about visualization, that first of all, we get an idea about what it is exactly that you really want, right? So it's one thing I could talk to you about all the tips and tricks and techniques on how to visualize till the cows come home, but until you're first clear and have an accurate understanding of what it is you are actually wanting, it can get a little fuzzy and a little clouded, right? So if you're not really clear about what it is you want, first and foremost, I'm going to recommend that you sit down and do some, vision stuff for your life. Get honest and clear about what are your core values. What are the experiences you want to have in life, right? So are you really clear about what it is you want? So write down what it is you want out of life. How much money do you want? Write it down. Get clear. Get an accurate and honest, clear picture about what it is you really want. What kind of relationships do you want to have? What kind of work do you want to be doing? Right? So, and you can keep your goals to yourself until you're absolutely crystal clear that this is exactly what it is you want to create. And play with them. Play with the things that you want in your life. Right? Allow yourself to daydream a little bit and try some outrageous goals simply to loosen up your point of view. Right? So why am I hammering this home? You're like, Toni-Lee, I thought this was going to be a webinar on visualization. Well, the reason I'm hammering this home, guys, is because, quite frankly, until you have a clear picture of what it is you really want, the visualization tool can end up being a little clouded and a little muddy. So I just wanted to start off by saying that get clear about what it is you actually want. Now, let's talk about visualization. All right, so what do you focus on when you visualize, right? So visualization is a time to be creative and in finding out what you really want, and then you visualize your way getting there or when you've reached it, right? So you want to visualize the parts of along the way, but also the end result is you want to actually visualize in your mind's eye that you've actually reached or attained the thing that it is you say that you want. I see here we've got Ashley with us as well and Melanie. So hey guys, welcome. So let's get into a little bit more about visualization. So I'm a big fan of the dictionary. And whenever I'm working with a concept or a word, I always like to refer to the dictionary just to get a clear idea about what it is that I'm working with. So according to dictionary.com, visualization is the representation of an object, situation, or set of information as chart or other image, or the formation of mental image of something. So it's the formation of a mental image. So we're clear that this is something that's happening within our mind, right? Visualization happens within the brain. And it's important to understand that. So visualization, what is it? Is it just simply some hippy-dippy new age hype? Some people seem to think so. However, there are a lot of scientific studies and research that have been done on visualization, working with athletes, working with astronauts. The idea is that as you activate those parts in your brain, that when it comes time to actually do the thing, the brain's already pre-programmed and wired and ready for action. Right? So the same brain regions are lit up in the mind as when actually doing it, right? So they've actually done this where they've tested athletes and they've hooked up little probes on their brain and then they actually went out and ran a race. And then they've actually done the same thing with those same athletes and had them run the race in their mind's eye. And the exact same areas of the brain were lit up. Pretty cool stuff. So why is that important? Because the brain will act in accordance to your visions, right? So the brain will act in accordance to how it is you're visualizing. So if you're pre-programming or you're visualizing something playing out in your mind, then when it comes time to do it in real time, real life, your brain already has an idea or an understanding of what's to come. So I want to just take a little moment. Oh, I see we've got Paramjeet here as well, and Nicole. Hi, guys. Thanks for tuning in. So I want to just take a minute and talk about the brain, because this is really, really vital and important when we're talking about the process of how the brain actually works. Now, there was a documentary years ago that came out called What the Bleep Do We Know? It's got some pretty cool graphics. It's all around quantum physics. Some people seem to think that What the Bleep Do We Know is a little pseudoscience. That's okay. Personally, for myself, I got really excited when I watched this documentary because it was putting into representation on a movie screen things that I had already intuitively known for a very long time. So what I want to do is just take a minute and we're just going to share. We don't want to start the download here. Okay, well, it looks like, oh, there it is. All right, so we're just going to watch a little video clip of What the Bleep Do We Know? And this is a really cool image of how the brain actually works, how the neurons and stuff actually works. I think it's a really cool graphic, which is why I wanted to share it with you. So let's check it out.
Brain, when it fires its thoughts, is likened unto the landscape of a thundercloud. And the synaptic cleft is the sky between the storm and the earth's receptor sun. And you see this foreboding dark cloud pouring in the sky. And you see electrical impulses moving through it, veins of electric light, and then you see it hit the ground.
So those are thoughts, guys.
Rain looks like a thunderstorm when it is presenting a coherent thought. So no one has ever seen the thought. What they do see in neurophysics is that they see a storm raging around different quadrants of the brain. Those are areas that are mapped in the body and what the person must be responding to. A holographic image. Rage, murder, hate, compassion, love.
The brain does not know the difference between what it sees in its environment and what it remembers, because the same specific neural nets are then firing.
So I'm just pausing it here for a minute, guys. So what he's saying is that the brain does not distinguish the difference between what it's actually seeing and what it's actually remembering. So if you look here, these are all neural nets. These are all thoughts that have been programmed, little pathways, and these are memories that we associate with certain events in our life. So love, friendship, money, relationships. These are all things that are created and formed in our minds. And it's very important to know that the brain does not distinguish the difference between what it sees and what it's remembering. So let's see what else they have to say.
It's made up of tiny nerve cells called neurons. These neurons have tiny branches that reach out and connect to other neurons to form a neural net. Each place where they connect is integrated into a thought or a memory. Now, the brain builds up all its concepts by the law of associative memory. For example, ideas, thoughts, and feelings are all constructed and interconnected in this neural net, and all have a possible relationship with one another. The concept and the feeling of love, for instance, is stored in this vast neural net. But we build the concept of love from many other different ideas. Some people have love connected to disappointment. When they think about love, they experience the memory of pain, sorrow, anger, and even rage. Rage may be linked to hurt, which may be linked to a specific person, which then is connected back to love. We built up models
of how we see the world outside of us. And the more information that we have, the more we refine our model one way or another. And what we ultimately do is tell ourselves a story about what the outside world is. Any information that we process, any information that we take in from the environment is always colored by the experiences that we've had and an emotional response that we're having to what we're bringing in.
Who is in the driver's seat when we control our emotions or we respond to our emotions? We know physiologically that nerve cells that fire together wire together. If you practice something over and over again, those nerve cells have a long-term relationship. If you get angry on a daily basis, if you get frustrated on a daily basis, if you suffer on a daily basis, if you give reason for the victimization in your life, you're rewiring and reintegrating that neural net on a daily basis. And that.
So what he's saying here, guys, is that the neural nets, if you activate those thoughts in a consistent way, you can actually reprogram your neural nets. So if you visualize, so if something's not currently your reality, but in your mind's eye, you can visualize consistently something happening over and over again. For example, the experience of exercising and going to the gym. Perhaps it's not something that you're currently doing, but in your mind's eye, you visualize yourself doing it and you're programming those thoughts. You're programming those neural nets. What's going to start to show up in your life is these thoughts are going to start wiring and you're going to actually start to bring that into your actual experience.
Net now has a long-term relationship with all those other nerve cells called an identity. We also know that nerve cells that don't fire together no longer wire together. They lose their long-term relationship because every time we interrupt the thought process that produces a chemical response in the body, every time we interrupt it, those nerve cells that are connected to each other start breaking the long-term relationship. When we start interrupting and observing, not by stimulus and response and that automatic reaction, but by observing the effects it takes, then we are no longer the body, mind, conscious, emotional person that's responding to its environment as if it is automatic.
So I love that, because what he's saying there, guys, is he's saying that with a pattern interrupt, which is why I love the whole concept of emotional freedom tapping. If you've ever heard of that, it's the tapping of electrical impulses. And the reason that works is because it's doing a pattern interrupt on those neural nets firing. So if you're having anxiety, right? So I noticed that Paramjeet just made a comment about people having anxiety, having a difficult time visualizing. So one of the things that you can do is interrupt. So start tapping, right? So that you can send an electrical impulse to interrupt those neural nets from firing together, right? And then you can begin to practice a different way of thinking, which does indeed take practice, which is why visualization can be such a profound experience, right? So, when people first start out riding a bike, it's a little wobbly and it can be a little tough and a little challenging. But as you begin to practice more and more, rewiring those neural nets, it can become a lot easier. So I did want to just bring that video into play just to get a full awareness of how it is that the brain works and how it is that the mind works. So let's go back over here to the PowerPoint. So why visualization? Why would we visualize? So first of all, it's power to prepare you for a specific situation. So visualizing something has been proven to affect the mind in the same way as actually doing the thing you're visualizing, right? So this means that if you have an upcoming task or presentation that you're nervous or scared of, you can visualize yourself doing it and succeeding when it actually comes time to do it. So guys, I'll tell you, I visualized in my mind's eye last night and this morning me doing this webinar. So if you have an experience, you're going to do a boardroom presentation, they've shown that if you practice it in your mind, practice yourself doing the talk or doing the speech, or even if it's the Facebook Live, you practice in your mind's eye first, that when it actually comes time to do it, your mind already has an experience and you'll be calmer and you'll be more likely to perform. So secondly, visualizing sends a red flag to your subconscious mind that those thoughts are far more important than any other thoughts that your mind will push you towards your goals for the rest of the day without even trying. Right? So an example of this is in the morning during my morning routine, during my morning, miracle morning routine. Part of my visualization experience is on my vision board, which I'll talk about vision boards here in a little bit. But on my vision board, there is a section for eating healthy, right? It's very important to me that I'm eating healthy and eating green foods, with vital life force. So I'll actually sit and visualize myself making healthy choices throughout the day. And this really cool experience happens that in the mornings when I do that, I tend not to want to eat off track. I tend to make the choices more and more because I've gone there in the mind, and my mind has been programmed to make those healthy choices because I've told my mind that those are the things that are a priority for me. And this works in the same way as if you were to hear like a really weird name once, and then all of a sudden you hear it over and over, you hear that same name, or perhaps you buy yourself a yellow Mustang, and you thought you had the only yellow Mustang out there, but then afterwards all you ever see anywhere is yellow Mustangs, right? The yellow Mustangs were there before, it's just you never noticed them, right? But now in your mind, your mind's been programmed to pay attention to that stuff. It's called reticular activation, right? So you tell your subconscious mind what to pick up and focus on when you visualize. Pretty cool stuff. So when do you do it? When do you visualize? I see here Kashmira says that she will work with her upcoming job interview. Yes, visualize that job interview. Visualize it going well. Visualize it being successful, Kashmira. Absolutely. So when do we visualize? So visualization can be done in various states of consciousness, among them being when we're awake, and also during hypnosis and during lucid dreaming. So hypnosis and lucid dreaming are the most effective states of consciousness, because that's, when your brain is in that alpha state and your brain is open to reprogramming. Your brain is open and more malleable to rewiring those neural nets, right? So getting into those states, though, can require quite a bit of effort. So if you have not got any experience of either of those, the best is to start visualizing during normal consciousness, which is like right now. I hope you're conscious when you're watching this. Okay, so since visualizing is most effective during altered states of consciousness, when you wake up and before bed are the most powerful times to visualize. This is because that is when the subconscious mind is the most receptive and affected, and your mind can use your guidelines of what thoughts are important all day and all night. So to visualize, you're going to do it straight before bed, and they can affect your dreams, which then in turn affects your subconscious mind. Personally, I like to do my visualization first thing in the morning with my miracle morning routine, because it's a great way to start the day off. So visualization, how do you do it? How do you visualize? So you'll want to find a quiet place for your morning visualization, and preferably the same place every day, since it helps the process of turning this routine into a ritual. I've got my little corner, I've got a little chair in my Zen den, and that's where I like to do it. So the trick is to visualize that you already have achieved what you want, or your way of successfully getting there. So you want to always focus upon the end result. And then this is most important, guys. So for visualization to be effective, it must be combined with a feeling, right? So simply thinking about your goal and desire, it will have some effect, but very few things are as strong as the human emotion. And again, there's an actual neurological explanation for that, is that done correctly, this can increase your motivation and control your emotions in future states. So you want to really feel connected to the end result. So again, we're just going to take some time here. And I am going to be showing a little clip from the movie The Secret. Again, there's some people out there who view The Secret as some, pseudoscience, hippy-dippy stuff. Personally, I, again, was one of those people. I watched The Secret and started applying these concepts in my life. And again, there's going to be talking about how the actual NASA program worked with the visualization with their astronauts and the effect it had on actually creating the long-term results. So let's hear what we have to say. Oh, and any of you who are Dr. Joe fans, here's a little bit of Dr. Joe for you. All right, so let's have a clip and see what Dr. Joe has to say about visualizations.
Another thing that I would suggest that you do right now to turn your life around, and this is so huge that I can't find the words to describe just how powerful this can be for you.
Visualize.
I took the visualization process from the Apollo program and instituted it during the 1980s and 90s into the Olympic program. And it was called visual motor rehearsal. When you visualize, then you materialize. And the interesting thing about the mind is we took Olympic athletes and then hooked them up to sophisticated biofeedback equipment and had them run their event only in their mind. Incredibly, the same muscles fired in the same sequence when they were running the race in their mind as when they were running it on the track. How could this be? Because the mind can't distinguish whether you're really doing it or whether it's just a practice. I think if you've been there in the mind, you'll go there in the body.
I love this part,
when
you guys.
You're visualizing, when you've got that picture playing out in your mind, always and only dwell upon the end result. Here's an example. Look at the back of your hands right now. Really, look at the back of your hands. The color of your skin, the freckles, the blood vessels, the rings, the fingernails, the fake fingernails. Take in all those details right before you close your eyes. And then see those hands, your fingers, wrapping around the steering wheel of your brand new car.
This is such a holographic experience, so real in this moment, that you don't even feel like you need the car because it feels like you already have it. It's the feeling that really creates the attraction, not just the picture or the thought. And I think for a lot of people, they think, well, if I think positive thoughts, or if I visualize having what I want, that'll be enough. But if you're doing that and still not feeling abundant or feeling, loving and joyful, then it doesn't, from my mind, really create the power of the attraction. This is where the secret actually moves into action.
You put yourself in the feeling place of really being in that car. Not, oh, I wish I could get that car, or someday I'll have that car, because that's a very definite feeling associated with that. It's not in the now, it's not, it's in the future. If you stay in that feeling, it will always be in the future.
Feel the joy, feel the happiness, no matter how silly it seems in that dark and quiet room, and you're going, woohoo, do it. A lot of people will say, come on, do I have to do that? How bad do you want change?
Now that feeling,
Oh,
that
I
inner
love
seeing
Michael Beckwith.
will begin to be an open doorway through which the power of the universe will begin to express. I cannot say, I know that it exists. Our job is not to figure out the how. The how will show up out of the commitment and the belief in the what.
The hows are the domain of the universe. It always knows the shortest, quickest, fastest, most harmonious way between you and your dream.
If you turn it over to the universe, you will be surprised and dazzled by what is delivered to you. This is where magic and miracles happen.
He got his car,
I would say
guys.
you want to do this virtually daily, but my disclaimer is this should never be a chore. What's really bottom line importance here to the whole secret is feeling good. You want to feel exhilarated by this whole process. You want to be high, happy, in tune as much as possible.
The only difference between people who really are living this way and people who aren't, living in the magic of life, is that the people who are living in the magic of life have habituated ways of being. They have habituated this process, and magic happens with them wherever they go.
magic happens with them wherever they go. And I have had people accuse me of living a magical life. And some days I feel like I live a magical life. Because of these processes, I've been able to experience really cool things, which I will talk about when we talk about the vision board. So Kashmira, you had mentioned how detailed does this visualization have to be? And my response to that is, for me, as detailed as I can get. What does the sun feel like on my skin? What am I smelling? What am I hearing? What is it going to feel like when I have this thing? What am I having in all of my experience? Because what's happening is that I'm then programming those neural nets to be ready for that when it comes. So effective visualization, it takes practice. So it can also help to have something guide you through it so that your mind doesn't wander to other places. So something that you can do is actually write out a guided visualization and then speak it into like a microphone and then play it back to yourself. And some other ways that it can be done is having an actual visualization or representation of something that actually represents your goals. So a few ways that we can do that. Well, one of the best ways that I've been able to experience this is through the power of visualization and vision boards. So what is a vision board? Vision boards are a visual tool for building the inner experience of a desired result in its complete form. They are extremely effective in forming a sharp, clear image or patterns in the mind's eye. The vision board assists you in radiating a clear image of the desired result. You and the people and the things necessary to the actualization of the image gravitate together like magnets to manifest the image on the three-dimensional plane of reality. That's my personal spin on that. Now, first and foremost, how do you create a vision board? So there's a few things here. I want you to be aware when I say pink elephant. What happens? What happened in your mind's eye? Now, I want to know, did you see the words pink elephant, or did you actually see a pink elephant? Being aware of how your mind works, most of the time, most people visualize and see images, right? So when creating a vision board, you want to make sure that you're using pictures as opposed to just words. Now, you can have words. Words certainly are effective as well, but they're really impactful and powerful on a greater scale when you're actually dealing with images. So to create your vision board, you can draw it. You can cut up pictures, photos out of magazines so that it represents the desired result in its most ideal and complete form. You don't attempt to show, you working really hard to make it happen. You want to actually focus on the end result. You want to allow your image to reflect your doubts. You do not want to allow the image to reflect your doubts or uncertainties. You can also download pictures from the internet. That's one of the things that I do is I Google, once I have a clear vision of the goals that I am working on, I will visualize or I will Google those pictures and then print them off and then put them on my vision board. So you can make it whatever size is appropriate for you. You can cover an entire wall of your house, or it can be a wallet size. Many people like to make them letter size so that it'll fit in a 3-ring notebook. Others use the 30 by 36 poster board. That's what I use. Some people make small vision boards to use as bookmarkers. You can make it the size that will work for you. You will know that it is the right size when you begin to feel the results each time you look at it. Another really cool one is I know you can go to Starbucks or other places and you can get these coffee mugs where you can pull out like the piece of paper and you can paste your goals and your visions, pictures of the things you want to create on your actual coffee cup. So it's something you're looking at on a daily basis. Another thing that I do is I put pictures of the things I want to create and manifest into my screensaver so that when my computer screensaver kicks on, the images start to cycle through. That's another really cool way to do that. So put yourself in the treasure map. So this is super important. Paste a recent photo of yourself being, doing, or having the desired result. Looking happy, feeling happy, being happy. A picture of yourself that you look at and you can really feel connected to. So you can also draw a picture of yourself, if you're artistically inclined. have a picture of yourself in that new relationship, wearing the new wardrobe, or maybe you're sitting in the lotus position with a serene expression of enlightenment on your face, if that's your choice. I know for myself, I am talented in many things, but drawing is not one of my greatest fortes. So I like to I'll actually cut my head out of the picture and then paste my head onto the body of the person doing the thing that I want to be doing. So that's another cool way to do that. But the ultimate goal here is you're putting yourself in the driver's seat. So you want to use colors to add power to your treasure map. Colors vividly increase the impact of the image on your consciousness and intensifies the focalized energy because our brain is attracted to color. And most importantly, you want to make sure that this looks realistic to yourself. If every time you look at your vision board, you're going, well, that's fake, or that's a pile of crap, or that'll never happen, then guess what you're programming in your mind, right? You don't want to reinforce those feelings of resistance. You want to be able to look at this and go, get excited and to feel passionate and to feel inspired about these things that are coming to you in your life. So keep it simple and uncluttered. If it is filled with too much stuff, it'll communicate confusion and lack of space, which could potentially manifest in your universe and experience. I know I am guilty of that. I have a very full life, and I'm going to show you a picture of my vision board here very quickly, and you'll see it's pretty full, which represents my life, no doubt. So graphically portray a connection with the infinite with a symbol that is real for you. So here's the thing. So for me, on my vision board, I've got a picture of a genie, because for me, I believe that the universe is like a genie. I just have to rub it, and the universe is going to say, your wish is my command. I'm here to deliver whatever it is you wish. So for some other people, it might be a picture of Jesus Christ. For some other people, it might be a picture of the Buddha. For other people, it might be a picture of their favorite yogi or guru, but something that's going to visualize that connection between the infinite and, and it's got to be something that's real for you. It could be E equals MC squared and a picture of Albert Einstein, whatever resonates as truth for you, that is that connection to the infinite. So be sure to include some money, guys, because, you don't want to get stuck with a lot of expenses or bills when the object of your desire appears in your life. So you want to, draw dollar signs or pictures of money on the vision board. I personally go and I print off pictures of money from the internet. And I have a picture of myself holding a big wad of money. I've got money raining down on me, which has actually there's been some pretty cool experiences of that. So a vision board enables you to consciously create your world the way that you want it to be, instead of unconsciously allowing your conditioned responses to create it some other way, right? So the thing is, guys, our brains are firing those electrical storm clouds regardless of whether we're visualizing or not. So visualization is an opportunity to become conscious and intentional about the images we want to create in our mind for the purpose of manifesting that experience in our life. So they're a valuable tool for dissolving barriers to a more abundant and fulfilling life. Now, here's a picture of my vision board. So I've been doing vision boards for the past decade, quite literally started, even way back in 2004. So I guess that's even more than a decade. And I've had some pretty amazing experiences. So first of all, just talk about it. So here's me in the middle. So I did this vision board in January, actually it was December 31st, 2017. And I've had this vision board for 9 months now. And most of the things on this vision board have come true. At the time that I made this vision board, none of these things were in my current experience. So I decided, I'd made the decision to, create this really scary goal of revitalizing my coaching business. And I put a picture of myself with, hello, I'm your coach. And, one of the things I want to do is become an author. And there's me holding lots of money from the stuff that I create. There's my wish is your command. And then here's my eating clean stuff. And then here's my money magnet stuff. As you can see, I've got money raining down on me. I wanted to have the experience of creating a community and feeling connected. And that right there, any of you who are part of the Practice Makes Permanent community, that was manifested and shown up in my experience. I'm having lots of friends, making friends, Here, you know, it says girls don't compete with each other, women empower one another. I did lots of golfing this year. I got to take lots of photos. Here's my husband and I. We actually were on the beach since this vision board happened. That was us. Literally, that picture could have been us. Facilitation skills. I was invited to participate in facilitating for my children's high school. I got to go and facilitate a seminar, so I facilitated. And, you know, there's my kids, so our connection with my children has grown even more and more. I've been practicing Kriya Yoga and studying the Self-Realization Fellowship with Yogananda. So a couple of really cool things that have happened throughout the year. I've had, one year I put on a picture of a bunch of shoes, right? I put a bunch of shoes on my vision board, and that was to represent me facilitating in my facilitator shoes. And out of the blue, nowhere, my friend showed up with 20 pairs of designer shoes, and she just said, you know, I'm cleaning out my closet. I thought you'd like to have them. Here you go. And I laughed because there they were, like all those shoes were on my vision board. Another experience was I had my dream car at the time was a Ford Escape. And at the time that I put the Ford Escape on there, I had no idea how I could afford it. I had no idea how I was going to get it. That was a few years ago. I have to tell you guys, today I own not one, not two, but 3 Ford Escapes. I own 3 Ford Escapes, and it's kind of a funny story how that happened, but there you go. My husband, I created space and I visualized space for my husband. So he was another one that came into fruition as a result of my treasure map. I'd never been on a plane before. And so years and years ago, I'd put on a bunch of like actual physical planes on my treasure map. And what ended up happening is my brother got really sick, and I ended up doing a bunch of back and forth trips to Toronto. So it wasn't exactly the way I wanted to manifest a plane ride, but there it is. What else happened? So harmonizing my relationship with my father has happened as a result of visualizing that. My bike. So last vision board I had actually had a picture of a bicycle I wanted. And again, I had no idea how I was going to get it or what was going to happen. But the thing is I put this vision board up beside my bed. So I look at it, it's the first thing I see when I wake up in the morning, and it's the last thing I see when I go to bed. And it's also the thing my husband looks at, I guess, unconsciously, because one day out of the blue, he comes home from the auction. He says, "Honey, I got you a bike." I was like, "You got me a bike?" And it was like the exact one that was on my treasure map. So there is a lot of power to these. So Kashmira, I know that you and I had talked about, you had mentioned that sometimes visualizing is something that you struggle with. So this is what I do is in the morning, I sit down and I play nice music and I drink my tea and I look at each of the areas on this vision board, and I imagine myself there, having it, having those experiences, and just reminding myself why I'm excited for those goals. So any questions? I see we got lots of cool comments. We got Paramjeet says, "Thanks for sharing the vision board." Kashmira says, "The whole point of this is to make ourselves believe that whatever we want is absolutely possible." Melanie Holmes, "Wonderful. I need one of these." Yes, everybody needs a vision board, especially if you're doing the Miracle Morning. It has been a phenomenal tool in terms of helping me guide the visualization process. So I don't see any questions popping up. So yes, there will be homework. So Melanie, since you are watching, if you are so inclined, you guys, and if you want to take it up, and if you are inspired by incorporating visualization into your life, then here is your homework. All right, create a vision board. So however that looks like for you, go out today, go to the dollar store, make a list of the things that you want to create, and then create some pictures. And, you know, don't forget to put money on there. Don't forget to put your connection to the universe, and begin to implement 10 minutes every morning for the remainder of the Miracle Morning Challenge. So Paramjeet, homework for you too, buddy. So get on it if you're inspired. Like I said, you can create a model. You can have it on your coffee cup, whatever is going to work for you. And then once you've created it, share a picture of it in the group, you guys. Would love to see it. You know, once you've created it, take a picture and share, and you can talk about the various goals. We'd love to celebrate you in doing that. Oh, Kashmira, could you share the PowerPoint with us? We can talk about that. I will send you a message. Awesome. Okay, guys. So thank you for coming on board and joining me for the webinar today. I really appreciate it. I see Nicole is here as well. So I appreciate you joining me. Again, you guys, life is meant to be enjoyed. Life is meant to create the things that you want to create. Life is so much fun when you start to actually manifest and experience those things that you want to experience for yourself. You're worth it. You deserve it. Go out there and definitely get her done. I'm going to stop the share. So there I am. So thank you so much for joining me, and take care. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about the power of affirmations, which is going to be great as well. Take care, guys.